Hello everyone, I am Shadow Witch and welcome to my circle. And I want to say thank you again to Jack Riley Neve for the great theme song and for Michelle for being my videographer. And here we go. Today we're discussing the Book of Shadows. And for those of you that are like, oh, I don't have a Book of Shadows like that, that's okay. It can be simply a sketch pad. It could be a notebook. You can use copy paper. Whatever you have, just write it down. Eventually you can transfer it into a fancier book if you want to. A lot of people like to keep books of shadows on the computer. I find that helpful for like lectures that I give, not as helpful for all the really important things that I do because I use a lot of diagrams, symbols, things like that I work with when I'm carving candles, when I'm doing things. Oh, I should probably show you a little bit more. So you're like, wait, I couldn't see that. But when I'm carving symbols, when I'm doing various things for candles, I like to sketch them out. I was doing a little work. I was doing a candle for Gabrielle, which is a communication candle. I do work with the Hebrew. In my practice, you don't have to work with it yourself, but I do like to, work out the actual design and how it's going to look on paper first. Every time, just so I get a nice perspective. It's the artist in me that, works everything out. But a regular book of shadows, what is a book of shadows? I would have to go back again and review, like so many things in the magical world, the origins of where it comes from gets mushy. Because so many people come up with their particular bent on where it comes from or what the origin is, or I was told, or I heard from someone, or this person said, and it just gets regurgitated. I don't honestly remember the exact origins of the Book of Shadows, but for us in the magical world, it is a book that we put our magical workings in. As simple as that. It doesn't really have to be more mysterious. If you're really interested in the origins, you can look it up for your own personal interest. But for me, I have several, countless at this point. This particular Book of Shadows I use in class when I'm getting ready to do a ritual, an esbat, or a sabbat. And this one starts with Before Time Was, which is a lovely prayer poem. I want to say it might have been written by Scott Cunningham. It is just really beautiful. Then, the thing that I think is, I guess, interesting to a lot of people, I never found it particularly so until someone commented recently, but the ritual that I use, I wrote myself. Close to 25 years ago, perhaps closer to 30 now. And you can do the exact same thing. You can. You need a beginning, middle, and an end. But actually the middle can be changed depending on what you're doing. You need to cast the circle. And then what do we have here? I do an invocation of the elements. And then the center part of the circle is either the working circle, if you're doing spell casting, are you doing a moon ritual, which would be an esbat, and if so, what is the focus on that? Are you doing a sabbat? And after you're done with whatever you're doing, why the reason you cast the circle, we just don't cast circles for the sake of casting circles. You have to have a reason. Then we can work on, this is the new moon rite, this is the full moon rite. We have a Charge of the Goddess in here, which is lovely for Sabbats. That was written by Doreen Valiente. And a consecration ritual if we want to consecrate anything, special tools, jewelry, something of our magical, tools or supplies that we're using. and then the cakes and ale if we're doing a Sabbat, and then the opening of the circle. And that's just at the beginning. I have a copy of The Wiccan Rede, The Witch's Creed, The 13 Goals of the Witch by Scott Cunningham, The Witch's Pyramid, just a lot of really, the Wiccan Book of the Law, which is quite lengthy. I have a hand fasting ceremony I do when I marry couples. And it's just, I have initiations, a neophyte initiation, and then the first and second and third degree initiations, and things, oh, this is fun. What is this? Magical reading list. Items to bring to a ritual, magical principle. But you know what? This is mine. Oh, to identify a plant. So even, having a blank page so you can do a little bit of sketching or drawing. Maybe you're out in the woods, and to identify a plant. This is pretty old. I did that a long time ago. So that is one Book of Shadows. Now this is a separate little one I have that is just filled with potions. I'm not going to show it to you because they're all my personal potions, recipes, incenses, soaps, oils. Oh my goodness. Yeah, bath salts. These are all the recipes we use here at my store. Divination incense. Ooh. Spells. Ooh, I summon the energies. Very nice. So it's really fun to have, your own Book of Shadows, and having more than one is great. If you're just writing down notes from a video, that's great. You can actually have your separate Book of Shadows from perhaps notes you're taking from video or classes or something like that. But if that's all you're taking down and you're not actually dedicating your magical workings to a authentic Book of Shadows, you're missing out on a lot. To have, when I look back over 40 years of notes and written ideas and feelings of, experiencing different rituals with people and who attended, and the things that we, experienced and did. And I look back through some of mine when I went to a sweat lodge, and oh my goodness, the things over the years, it's just such a full, complete experience. Those are all found in your Books of Shadows. And to say that one day, when I'm old and gray, I'm going to go back and write all that down. No, you won't. It's a lovely thought, but no, you won't. Write it down now. This is when it's happening. This is when you're experiencing it. This is when all of those feelings are there. And this is your depository of all of that wonderful, magical experience. So that's what your Book of Shadows is. This is your treasure chest of all of your magical, wonderful goodness. And you can go back and pull out of it every time you need it, that information, anytime you wish to access it. So go out and look for your Book of Shadows. Find a really great one and let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about your Book of Shadows and what you put in it. And if there's any questions you have about putting your Book of Shadows together, that would be great. I've known people that have made theirs from scratch, literally binding the books. You don't have to go to that extreme, but it should be special to you, whether it's a sketchbook you bought or whether it's something more fancy, but your Book of Shadows should be special to you. So this is Shadow Witch. Thank you for visiting my circle, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.